Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. I was literally I believe I was about to go to bed last night, and usually when I go to bed, I will take, like many people do, I will take one last look at my phone to see if anything interesting is going on, and then I will lay down and go to sleep. Well, last night, the last thing I looked down and I saw this thing about, I saw something come across about Binance Hacked, and I immediately I looked at it and I was like, really, is this what I'm going to go to sleep to? But a lot of good things and bad things have come out of this Binance hack, but in my opinion, it's mostly good things, especially for XRP holders. I believe that the things that are born of this hack tell you a lot about the maturity of the market we're in now versus what it's been like in the past. And I'm going to show you. At Mike Honcho _11, Brian Melancholy XRP sent me this. This was the first article that I saw. Now, just as an FYI, to those of you that send me information and you think to yourself, well, I sent you that information about Binance being hacked too. Well, what I do when I go through my direct messages on Twitter, I go through and I do it in order. The first guy that sends me something is the guy that I who I feature when I cover it, but that's the only fair way I know to do it. And so he had sent me this. Hackers steal $40.7 million in Bitcoin from crypto exchange Binance. Now, so let's go through this. The first thing I want to show you, and the first point I want to make, is that CZ Binance, who's the CEO, that's his Twitter handle, but he's the CEO of Binance, has gone about this hack. His response to it has been, in my opinion, more transparent, and he's been out in front on it. This is, and I wanted to show you this. I'm not going to show you the whole video, but this is, he actually posted a 37-minute video of himself talking about what's going on to keep his customers informed. I believe that this is a big step forward in the way that things like this are handled, and I think that he has really gotten out in front and handled this the right way. And I'll talk about some of the hacks that I've seen in the past in a minute to kind of illustrate the difference. Usually, well, I'll tell you now, usually with most of these hacks, you get a message on a Twitter feed that and he did start out this way. He had a message on his Twitter feed that we're doing maintenance or something to that effect. That's usually how most of these start, is that they're doing a scheduled or an unscheduled maintenance, and then that leads to letting you know that they were hacked, and then that leads to the final death blow is that you're going to have to talk to our attorneys about this, and then you end up finding out whether or not you're getting any of your digital assets back through some bankruptcy proceeding. That's your worst case scenario. But this has not been handled that way, and I believe that's why the market has not been killed the way it normally has in the past. Okay, so let's look at some of the things he said. First, he says, this is from his Twitter feed, "Thanks for the support. We really appreciate it, but currently no need. We will cover the loss from the Seifu fund. There is enough. We are hurt but not broke. We are working hard to resolve the issue so that everyone can deposit and withdraw again. Will take some time." And he has this whole feed. He also said that in here that they're working with Binance and many other exchanges, pledging to block deposits from those addresses, much appreciated, etc. So they're working with exchanges. And also an interesting note, Justin Sun, who's the founder of Tron, came in and commented here, and he says this: I thought this was pretty wild. He says, to support Binance, I will personally deposit 7,000 Bitcoin worth USDT, 40 million USDT into Binance to buy BNB, BTC, TRX, and BTT if CZ Binance agrees. No need to FUD. Funds are SAFU. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Well, here's the Binance blog. Binance security breach update. Hackers were able to withdraw 7,000 Bitcoin. The above transaction is the only affected transaction. It impacted our BTC hot wallet only, which contained about 2% of our total BTC holdings. Well, this is significant for you all to know. It affected our hot wallet only. In other words, the Bitcoin wallet that they have to keep online for the trading for their platform is what was affected. And their cold wallet, which most of these exchanges say that they put 98 or so % of their digital assets that are bought through their exchanges and keep them in cold wallets offline. If this number had been a lot more, let's say it had been 100,000 Bitcoin, you would know that their cold wallet policy was probably a farce and not really true. Well, so this is a good thing that it only affected their hot wallet, but it's an even better thing that they've got a fund to cover this incident in full. This is a big deal. That's a really big deal. But this combined with the fact that he's been so transparent has been one of the biggest things and the reason that I think that we're going to a new level as far as when these hacks occur. Now, keep in mind, this is one of the biggest exchanges out there. Those smaller exchanges, you can trust me on this. If your digital assets are on those smaller exchanges and it gets hacked, it will not be handled like this. You're going to lose your money in a lot of those cases. So do not keep your digital assets on any exchange. All right. Well, this is where it gets interesting. Some bad things came out of this hack that I didn't anticipate. Nobody anticipated. This is from CZ Binance. After speaking with various parties, including these people and others, we decided not to pursue the reorg approach. Considerations being pros. We could revenge the hackers by moving the fees to miners. 2, deter future hacking attempts in the process. 3, explore the possibility of how Bitcoin network would deal with situations like these. Cons. We may damage the credibility of BTC. Now that one jumped off the page at me. We may cause a split in both Bitcoin network and community. Both of these damages seem to outweigh the $40 million revenge. 3, hackers did demonstrate certain weak points in our design and user confusion that was not obvious before. Cons 4. While it is very expensive lesson for us, it is nevertheless a lesson. It was our responsibility to safeguard user funds. We should own up to it. We will learn, improve. All right, this is a great attitude. This is the way an actual CEO handles things. This right here set off a bomb in the Bitcoin community. And that's what I want to talk about. C3 Nick hit the nail on the head on this one. Today's big news is not the Binance hack. It is the now widely known ability to roll back Bitcoin transactions given enough funds and incentives. Decentralization, immutability, negotiable. Hypocrites will still defend it somehow. Whatever pumps your bags, I guess. Then CZ Binance saw that this was getting out of control. He says it turns out the reorg discussion's hotter than the incident itself and becoming a little twisted. We did not initiate the idea. It came from a suggestion from Jeremy, quoted tweet. We did discuss it. Many people seems to deem even that itself is wrong. I don't think. And look at this. This is what started the reorg discussion. CZ Binance, if you reveal your private keys for the hacked coins or a subset of them, you can decentralizedly, at zero cost to you, coordinate a reorg to undo the theft. You can even sign batches of TXNs with old UTXOs, paying miners with different lock times to make it a permanent reward to unwind this hack, cheaper than losing all 7,000. anyway, this guy just opened a freaking can of worms on CZ Binance. And then XRP Research Center comes in. He's replying to CZ Binance's tweet. He says, think about this. Binance is robbed of 40 million worth of BTC. BTC core dev suggests Bitcoin chain reorg. CZ top exchange gathers Bitcoin top core devs and Bitmain CEO top miner to have a closed door discussion on the possibility to reorg. Anyone scared yet? Oof, man. Okay. Then Michael Novogratz gets freaked out. I am shocked that CZ Binance even went there. Talk of forking or reorganizing the blockchain is close to hearsay. When the Ethereum community did it, the project was like 5 months old, a baby. Bitcoin now has 100 billion market cap and is a legitimate store of wealth. And he's tweeting out this tweet. There's a bit of superficial discussion happening, mostly dismissal of CZ Binance's exploration of reorganization of the blockchain to reverse Binance's recent hack. Here's why such a rollback is plausible in a future case, whether we want it to be plausible or not. I mean, we've talked about this a lot on this channel, and I've told you, I own Bitcoin, but I own Bitcoin because I've seen that Wall Street has decided, people like Mike Novogratz have decided that Bitcoin and Ethereum are initially going to be the accepted digital assets to take us into the digital asset age. And that's how Wall Street is going to initially usher it in. But I don't own Bitcoin because of its technology. Bitcoin is an inferior technology. That is what's being exposed here. Bitcoin is not even close to what XRP is. That is what is being exposed right before everyone's eyes here. It's been exposed also in the Ethereum Classic. The POW is an inferior technology. By the proof of the 51% attacks on Ethereum Classic. Notice you don't hear many people talk about Ethereum Classic much anymore. It's kind of on the back burner from what I've seen. But that's what this is, and that's why this is so monumental. But I do believe that because Wall Street is adopting these first, I do believe Bitcoin and Ethereum and these are going to go through the roof in the short to mid run. That's why I own some of them. Okay, and this is from Larry Cermak. He's talking about hacks in general. Some of my thoughts, insights on the Binance hack. 41 million is peanuts for Binance. They can make it back in 47 days. It was the 6th largest exchange hack in history, and the total amount stolen from the exchanges is now 1.35 billion. Reorg was a stupid idea that wouldn't work. Okay, well, the point is it's a discussion, and that's the point. That's the scary point. Here's the 10 largest crypto exchange hacks in history. CoinCheck was number 1, and that was at about 500 million. And let's see, Binance would weigh in down here somewhere in the mid range. But anyway, there's been bigger hacks. And moving along. This is a point that C3 Nick made also. Every hack of a crypto exchange is beneficial for more established players when offering their own crypto exchanges, as in your money is safe with us. This is a point I've been making for months now. Wall Street is coming, and the flag that they're going to be waving to the public is that it's safe to come in now. And don't you think for a minute that they're not going to point to this Binance hack as a vulnerability. And they're going to say, now crypto is finally legitimate. You can trust us. You've always been able to trust us. And that is when the mega big money and retail money and institutional, it's all going to flow then. Because then the public is not only going to trust it, but the public will then, Wall Street will then begin the process of selling the public and becoming, like I've said before, the biggest cheerleaders in the crypto space. Bigger than the digital asset investor is for digital assets. And these are the guys who are going to lead the way. Backed. They are, talk about being primed to enter the space any day now, folks. And finally, I wanted to show you this before I leave you. And that is if you wanted to learn any lesson from the hack today, the lesson is right here. The market has literally not budged from this hack. Binance is probably one of the most notable exchanges in the space. And this right here, the fact Bitcoin is still sitting there ready to, right around 6,000, ready to go over 6,000, and the market has not been budged by this. That tells me two things: that this market is beginning to mature, and it tells me three things. The market is beginning to mature, that we are entering a bull market, and that CZ and Binance handled this the correct way. And I believe more than anything, the market is maturing, and probably the biggest thing I get out of this is that this market is done with all this bear stuff. It's time for bull runs, and I believe that we're close. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I'm a big Binance supporter. I think they've handled this perfectly, but unfortunately, they did expose a flaw that's been there for everyone to see all along in Bitcoin. Thanks for listening.